Hello, everybody. All right. Hello, everyone. I am trying something new where I am going live on both TikTok and on YouTube. So if you guys are tuning in, welcome. My name is Teri-Ann. I'm a childbirth educator and a certified holistic nutritionist, and I am here to help you awaken your inner warrior to the initiation that is birth and becoming a parent. We are not prepared fully within our culture. Our system doesn't want us to know that we are very powerful beings. And if we come to the system with this awareness that we are capable of coping with our intensity of labor and pain in labor through what we say to ourselves, through our environment, and through an awareness of how labor hormones work, how the body works, and how our partners and birth team play a role in how we feel within a very, very sacred time of labor and birth. It is a threshold experience. It is an out of body in some places and cases, and very transformational chapter that our culture really isn't preparing us for in the ways that we deserve and that we know work. Evidence-based-birth.com is a wonderful resource for any of you who are looking for more evidence, the scientific evidence to prove the things that I'm talking about. So you can go over and check her out. She is always updating her website with new information, especially around COVID. So if you're going to be birthing within the system, I would recommend that you find her resources specifically for that issue. In this class today, we're going to be covering what it means to cope with labor and birth. We are going to be looking at how you as an individual can utilize what you say to yourself to move through the hardest parts of labor. And this is where we grow as a collective and where we take birth as an initiation into our everyday life. Because if we were able to truly work with our bodies in moment to moment living, I believe that we would all be more happier and that we'd all be more community centered, heart centered, rather than fear centered, which is what the medical system has you thinking that birth is. A little bit about me. I am a mom of two. I'm a childbirth educator because of my first experience with my daughter, not the birth though, what came after. And I also am a holistic nutritionist. And that training as a holistic nutritionist was wonderful in its science and in its evidence around how food can make you feel and grow. Especially growing a really healthy mama and a healthy baby, which has a huge effect on how you recover from birth and how quality, how deeply nutrient dense your milk is, how much anxiety you have. All of these things really do come down to your nutrition, which our culture in our medical system does not even touch on in most cases unless you're very sick. And so what I've come to know in my experience of becoming a parent is that we are lacking considerably in our culture, in our overculture around how we prepare to become a parent, whether you're a man or a woman, whatever you identify as. Birth is a threshold experience. Whether you're in the labor or watching the labor, you will change. Your relationship's going to change, your community is going to change, and the world is going to change as well. And this is where we can prepare ourselves for that initiation of experience so that we can thrive rather than just survive what we now know, what I now know as a parent. And when you join the parent club, we all know because we've all been there. So excuse me in my raspy voice. I've been sick for about a week now. I've been hearing a lot of people have been sick for a while. Just kind of a head cold. The Schumann resonance has been a very interesting thing to watch. And if you don't know about that, you can find that on TikTok, and that might be really helpful for you if you're experiencing some health issues as well. So the layout for the class today will really work well for you if you grab a pen and paper. There's a lot of self-awareness tools that I'm going to give you that you can take away today and play with. If you have ice in your freezer, when it comes to that point, grab it, give it a try. I'm going to teach you a pain coping technique that will help you in life, but in labor as well. And we use pain coping technique with ice because ice is a type of pain that is not going to damage you. It's not going to hurt you or your baby. But it's also something that you can control, that you can pick up and put down. And that's where we get to play with the idea that ice can be like a contraction. And if you're playing with pain and you're learning about pain, it's very interesting because most of us experience pain in a emotional state and a physical state through our lives. And the ice can represent both. So if you're experiencing pain and you want to use these techniques in your labor or in your everyday life to come out on top, to come out in a high vibration, in a happy state, and also a more self-aware state where you go moment to moment to moment, seeing the negative state, seeing the challenge that pain is, and turning it into a positive, and the positive being that you are in control. So grab some ice if you have it when we're ready. And I want to just talk to you about your conditioning around pain and how you may not see that you've been preconditioned to believe that you are not strong enough to cope, especially with labor. And that's why you go to be saved at the hospital. And that's why most people ask for the epidural, because they believe that they are not capable of enduring such an experience, as our culture has informed them that they would not be. So I invite you to think about when you were a young child and when you got sick and you had a tummy ache or a cold. And what happened for you in that experience? Did your mama park you in front of the couch with a cup of chamomile tea and give you hugs, tell you you're going to be okay? Or did she pump you full of Tylenol and tell you to get to school because life goes on and there's no time to think about what that experience is like? You just need to get on with it. Many of us have these childhood stories and experiences that are in our subconscious that we are not aware are affecting our conscious living state. So think about where you as a child were conditioned to believe or think about what pain is like. Now, pain in your body is interesting because some people will reach for the Tylenol very intuitively, and others will reach for the cup of chamomile tea or whatever herbal remedy they choose, really depending on your conditioning. Now, by shining a light on this experience, I ask you to journal in your journal the simple title, Pain Is, and then just see what comes up for you. It's a very simple title and it's very open for a reason. And this can be classed as your shadow work when it comes to preparing for your birth. And I'm just looking at my notes here. Once you've finished looking at your journaling prompt, that pain is, whatever it may be for you, whatever comes to mind first, and whenever your finger stops writing, that's great. Then move into the question, to cope with pain, I should. And the should is very important because that's where your unconditioned awareness, your conditioned awareness unconsciously is coming up to the surface. The should is how you've been conditioned to believe you need to cope with pain. So in pain, I should. Whatever comes up for you. Now, when I'm in pain, other people should, and this is a good one, especially when you're leaning into your birth team to help you to cope with pain and intensity in labor. What are you asking other people to do for you or expecting them to do for you so that you can cope? And if they stop doing that, what will you do? Now, when we think of a culture of the West, we are so comfortable with our comfortable houses, our hot water, our clean homes. We are very comfortable. And most of us are very comfortable being comfortable in our bodies. But when you look at birth as a threshold experience and initiation experience, it is very uncomfortable because it is very new. It is something that you're experiencing for 1, 2, or maybe 3 times, and no birth is the same. How will you cope with your pain or intensity in labor, even when you don't feel comfortable to do so? And these questions can be, the answers to these questions will change as you change, as your awareness of your body changes. So sit with them, come back to them, and enjoy them. The experience of journaling is a deep, deep way to work with your unconscious awareness, which will come up in labor and birth, because you are not birthing from your prefrontal cortex. Birth is a right brain experience. It is an intuitive, creative, and emotional experience, one that hormones, when allowed to flow freely, truly do not come from a left brain, logical ABC thinking mind, even if you wrote the birth plan. Birth is not something that you can do in a conscious mind. It is an unconscious and truly transformational experience, because it is a different level of awareness that you would not have normally without drugs of some kind. And this is where our culture really fails us, because we are told that psychedelics are bad, that having an experience that is out of body is dangerous. And if you haven't done your shadow work, these things will come up for you in labor. And it's truly finding a way to cope with what comes up, because you will be challenged, whether you do the shadow work or not. But how you come through that challenge is how things will change and really transform your experience. So what will the pain of labor feel like? How will you cope with that pain? And what can you do to prepare for the intensity of that pain? She, her are my pronouns. And how can you support her through labor? So if your partner is sitting with you, if he has or she has some ideas around how they can support you, start troubleshooting. Start talking about the ideas that you have. How do you know how to support each other if you've never been through an experience of birth before? Most of us see birth on the TV or the movies, where they're lying on a bed and they're holding their partner's hand and screaming at them that they hate them. Unfortunately, this is not a true depiction of reality. And unfortunately, if you are laying on your bed, you are limiting your body's movement and ability for your baby to birth itself, to come out of your birth canal. And I'll just grab my hips to show you. So this is your pelvis, and if you and your partner are preparing for birth, it's a good idea to understand how this works, what this looks like, how it moves. And when you understand that your body is pumping relaxin, the hormone relaxin, out in the last month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on your body, but right up leading up to birth, this is why your feet get really sore, because the weight on your feet from your body carrying all that extra water weight, but also the relaxin is allowing your bones and your ligaments to stretch further than they've ever stretched before. And your hips are also going to be moving a lot more than they ever have before. Look at that hole. Look how much wider it gets when you open your legs. So sitting correctly, sitting on your sit bones will help to create elasticity in your joints and ligaments in the last few months. And then understanding that laying on your back while you're birthing is going to limit the mobility of your sacrum. When you birth your baby up on your knees, or on your knees facing this way, up or this way, you're allowing for this bone to move. And if you look at birth pictures, they're available freely online now. Many people are photographing their births. women are generally facing the floor, and you will see that there is a very deep mark in their back. And that deep mark is this bone here moving. It is moving in, and that is allowing for the space for your baby to come out. So now that you have a visual of what this looks like and how you can move with your labor, I hope that you know that if you are instructed to lay on your bed, that you can say no. It doesn't serve you in your pushing. It is not the evidence-based birth position that you are choosing to use. And if you have an epidural, they can help you to prop up your body, your hips in a peanut ball. A peanut ball is like two balls attached together, and that will allow for the hips to do this, just like they would if you used your legs on the floor. The peanut ball will do this to allow your baby to come out, give you that extra space that you need. So always advocating for a pushing position that is anatomically correct. And you should have a conversation with your care team before labor in terms of planning your pushing position. Isn't that so amazing? Okay, so let's move on to pain coping. Now, we need to understand a baseline of what your pain coping levels are. And normally in interactive classes, I would do this with you. So if you're following along and you're doing the pain coping with the ice, I invite you to pick up your piece of ice now. And I will be doing this every week on Sunday at 10 a.m. PST Mountain Time. I have you also over here on YouTube Live, where I plan on doing a lot of interactive typing, replying, and I'll be sharing this live later on my YouTube page. So you can come back to this and share this with your partner if they're not with you now. And now that you have that piece of ice in your hand, I invite you to feel that piece of ice and to give yourself an out of 10 how much pain that piece of ice is creating for you. And I'm going to time you for holding that piece of ice for a minute. Just sit with that piece of ice and really feel it. And ask yourself, out of 10, what level of pain is this ice giving me? It probably feels like it's burning, aching sensations. And try not to use any pain coping techniques that you may already know about. Just really feel this ice. A minute can feel like a very long time when you're sitting with ice. Birthing from within is the training that I took. Pam England changed my life. Okay, drop your ice. If you're looking for more information, Pam England has a couple of really great books for preparing for birth. So you can either check out her books or come to one of my classes. I'll be hosting them free here locally in Nanaimo. Now, write your number down in your journal. Out of 10, where were you on the pain scale? Okay, let's come back to that. And I'm going to talk to you about the birth of a butterfly and how we can look at pain versus suffering and really try and understand and tease apart this idea. So the wonderful process by which a caterpillar really morphs from the chrysalis or the caterpillar into the butterfly. There's the chrysalis in the middle. The story usually begins with the really hungry caterpillar. And it hatches from its little egg and it begins to eat. And it eats and it eats and it eats and it sheds some of the skin along the way, as we do in our lives. We shed versions of ourselves as we grow and become new. And this caterpillar just gets plumper and plumper. And one day, through a series of sheds of its skin, finding itself to be new, it just stops eating and decides, I feel like I'm going to hang upside down and spin a silky cocoon or a shiny chrysalis. And it does this not knowing that it's going to turn itself into an ooey gooey mess inside this chrysalis, as it actually has to use something called the imaginal discs, which is unique to the caterpillar. And the imaginal disc is a gene that allows the caterpillar to truly manifest itself as a butterfly. Pretty interesting. It'll manifest its little antenna, its wings, its body, its legs. And then this is the interesting part. When the butterfly starts to break free of the chrysalis or the cocoon that it's in, it has to struggle its way out to break its way out. It doesn't have anything sharp. It's a butterfly. It has to break free really slowly, and some would say painfully break free of this chrysalis. So some scientists thought, we'll save this butterfly and stop it suffering, and we'll just cut it out. So they used their knife and they teased apart the chrysalis or the cocoon with their scalpel and break open the chrysalis or the somebody wants to go hosting with me. Thanks, but no thanks. And as it breaks free of this chrysalis with the help of the scientists found that these butterflies died. Like, why though, right? We helped it break free. It didn't have to struggle or suffer. It didn't take as long as it would normally have, because it takes so long for them to break free. Well, science shows that the struggle and the pain that the caterpillar or the newly formed butterfly has to go through to emerge, and to manifest into its new self into the world, that is part of the experience. That without the struggle, without the pain and the suffering, the caterpillar ceases to be. So if we can look at our idea of what birth or a labor is supposed to look like, if we can imagine ourselves as this chrysalis and caterpillar and butterfly, maybe we would have more empathy and more awareness that it's part of the journey, and it's just how you cope that makes the difference. So I want to teach you a pain coping technique, and this pain coping technique is designed to help you in your day-to-day bring awareness to who you are and who you are in your body moment to moment. Now, if you're on a spiritual journey and you're going through a spiritual awakening, which I am as well, this breath awareness practice will help you in meeting your needs for your moment to moment experience in ways that will help you to stay in the highest vibrational frequency possible. Breath awareness is the foundational pain coping technique that I teach before I teach anything a bit more in depth in my classes, because if you have no awareness of your moment to moment experience, it can be very hard to layer in the next layering. So I invite you to grab a journal, write down some prompts that may be helpful for you in understanding how to be really present moment to moment to moment. So while you grab your pen, okay, so if you bring yourself into a very still place, I would like to start this with a grounding meditation that I use daily. It is something that I got from the Theta Healing book. I will post about that author in the information piece under the YouTube video that I'm going to post for you guys. And this grounding meditation should be done daily to allow you to ground into Mother Gaia, for you to really feel into your energetic and spiritual body more easily. And then work your breath awareness into this grounding meditation. So if you sit with your back up straight, which is really important for your chakras alignment, with your feet on the ground, close your eyes, and start to center yourself with your energy awareness in your body, and just start imagining roots coming out of your feet down into Mother Earth. And those roots go down, 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 all the way into the core of the earth. And as your roots entangle with Mother Gaia, bring her energy back up through your feet, back up into your root chakra, and just give it a minute so that you can actually feel your root chakra. And if you aren't feeling it yet, that's fine. You will, with more attention, you will feel her the more practice that you bring to this. Then bring your awareness up into your sacrum. This is your womb space, mamas, your place of creativity. And as you bring your awareness up into your solar plexus, moving that energy ball up, and breathing into that solar plexus energy, which is the place that really produces energy for your aura. So the better your solar plexus is functioning, the better your aura is functioning. And then bring your energy up into your heart chakra. Breathing that energy fully into your heart chakra. Everything you feel, your baby feels. So just give it some time and play with it. Now pulling that energy ball right up into your throat chakra. And then up into your third eye. With practice, you'll start to feel your third eye. And then up into your crown chakra. Open up that crown chakra and send that energy ball up, 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 past through your crown chakra. Now envisioning this blue, white ball leaving your body and traveling up through our atmosphere, out of our atmosphere into space. And now this is the part that you may want to write down. You go past the black stuff, send that energy ball past the white stuff, past the black stuff again, past the white stuff, and then past the black gooey place that is the laws and into the seventh plane of existence. Now breathe deeply here. You are now connecting to Christ consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, now bring your ball back down. Now, as you come back down, envision a beautiful waterfall or a shower, whatever you fancy. And just shower off your auric energy field. Cleanse it of anything that does not belong to you. And then bring this energy field back into your body through your crown, past the black stuff. That is the gooey black. That is the laws. Past the white. Past the black. Past the white. Past the black into our galaxy. Back down into Mother Earth. And back down to your crown. Now you're here in your body. It's time to practice your breath awareness as you sit in what could be the simplest form of meditation that you can have for your day. And just notice your breath. There's no need to control. There's no need to tell it what to do. Just observing your breath. And as you observe your breath, see what comes up for you in your mind and see how quickly you can let it go. You don't need to analyze it. And if you find yourself going down a little rabbit hole, we call this monkey mind. And monkey mind is something that the Buddhists termed due to the rabbit hole that you send your mind into. And this is what can cause the suffering. Because if you are not aware of your thoughts and your thoughts take you away with them, you are not present in your body in your moment-to-moment experience. So you can open your eyes now, bringing attention to your inward breath And noticing your next outward breath. This is the breath of letting go. And just shake that all off, no matter how you did. Just remembering that you can come back to this meditation, this grounding and breath awareness practice at any time. I do actually recommend that you do breath awareness and ground yourself as often as you can throughout the day. The more you ground yourself in your awareness of your body, the more moment to moment you will be in your highest vibration and in your happiest vibration, which is what we all need at this time for the betterment of humanity as a whole, for us to all stay present within ourselves as we move into this new reality. And this breath awareness practice will create that for you. It'll create a centered experience from within your vessel that you and your baby will feel. Now, if you're the partner and you're not the pregnant one, your baby and your partner who is pregnant are very affected by your essence as well. So everyone benefits within the household for everyone to practice this centering and this grounding technique. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. Now, with breath awareness, it does take some time for you to notice the thoughts that are coming up. And I invite you to practice this every day. And by next Sunday, I will teach you the next level of pain coping. So if you haven't had the time to practice daily and you only practice a few times, that's just fine. But I would love for you to show up next week on Sunday so that you can learn another level, another layer to pain coping that will truly help transform your birth and your life. Because like I said, pain is not just a physical experience, it can be an emotional and mental experience as well. So if you're interested in coming back, you can set a live on my YouTube channel. It's Teri-Ann Coombs, and you can find me over there, TeriAnnCoombes YouTube channel, where you can find me to set the live reminder, or I will do a live reminder here on TikTok as well. I really hope that you took a lot away from this experience and that I celebrate you for showing up and taking this opportunity to ground yourself in who you are before you become a parent or a parent again, because it is truly one of the most challenging experiences of my life, becoming a parent. And I also ask that you dive into asking yourself some more questions around your holistic approach to preparing for birth. In that, what are your physical activities doing to prepare you for labor in a way that is truly transformational? What does your nutrition look like? Are you supporting yourself with nutrient dense meals that enhance your baby's development, IQ development, and your internal pantry so that your milk can be nutrient dense? Because your milk truly is a reflection of the nutrients within your body. But if your pregnancy took all of your nutrients from you, you will find that your milk may not be satisfying your baby, or you may not have enough. And that's not a fear mongering. It's just that you need to eat enough food, specifically in the third trimester and the fourth trimester being the 6 weeks after birth. And then your herbal support. What type of herbs are you bringing into the birth world, and what type of herbs are you taking home with you in your fourth trimester that will support your pain and that will support your milk? I have some herbs on my website, but I also will be doing some free workshops for you to understand what herbs you can keep in your pantry through this evolution and revolution stage, so that you do not need to lean in or worry about the fact that maybe we'll not have a medical system around very soon here, as the systems are changing and collapsing in on themselves. I know for sure that you can do this and that your baby chose you to be here at this time, pregnant at this time, because you can handle it. Your baby chose you. It is an amazing experience to be chosen by our little ones, and many people are not given the opportunity. So I celebrate you for working with your baby and looking for the best ways for you and your baby to work together in labor and in the fourth trimester. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at birthingnourishedparents@gmail.com. I'd love to answer them for you, or check out my TikTok page where I post regularly so that you can see what types of information that may suit you, have discernment, see what fits for you, and use what works. I am so grateful that you came and showed up today. Thank you. I love you. Keep going. You've got this.